Hello, good morning. Welcome to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. You're listening to Going Solo Life After Relationship Loss, and I want to welcome you here. We are talking about the new year this year. I am Cece Shatz. I'm the Doyenne of Relationship Building, and I am a divorce, dating, and a life coach, really helping those move through to the other side of their life. Coming from relationship loss through to that transition we all seem to go through as we start developing our new life. And so this is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about my new life, right? And we have a guest with us today who's having a little trouble getting on. So we're going to kind of go ahead and start without him. I'm going to just take this information and let's see. Sorry about that. So new life starts today. And so you guys, I do have a show out there, New Year, New Me. So if you want to listen to that one, I did that last year. But I think it's important that we sometimes stop and take a little stock of our life, right? We take we take a pause, right? I have a good friend, and he often says, "Let's do a reset." Let's talk about where we're at, where we've been, where we're going. And I think that that's important. I think sometimes we do have to take a little bit of a reset. But what better time to do it than the beginning of a new year, right? And so I was thinking about this and I thought, wow, let's jumpstart our new life, right? We're moving from a relationship loss through to this transition of a new life. We can create it however we want, right? We have the choices. We're in the driver's seat. So isn't that a beautiful thing? I know you're thinking, I don't want to be here at times, but you're here. And so now we're going to try to help you move through and make it better for you. So let's talk a little bit about this. My new life starts today, because I do have a few things that we can talk about. Well, let's talk about a well-defined goal. So often when we're looking at starting something new, right, we start thinking about, how can we achieve this? What can we do? And when we are doing like resolutions, New Year resolutions, a lot of times they fail is because we don't have a defined goal, right? And some other things that we're going to talk about. But you need a defined goal as to what it is that you want to accomplish. So number one, sit down, figure out what it is that you want to accomplish this year, right? Give yourself some grace to be able to, uh, you know, be able to work on it together. And as you move forward in the thing, don't think that it's going to be done immediately, because that's not really what happens, right? We have to come up with a goal. So whatever that is, whether it's like you want to lose weight, or you want to work on your personal life, you want to create more friends in your life, you have to come up with whatever it is that you want to do. Then within each category, you want to come up with a defined goal on how to achieve this. And that's going to be a roadmap to be able to travel down, to be able to accomplish things that you want to accomplish. And so that is important, the defined goal. So we sometimes think we're not going to do that, and that's why it's just not successful to be able to make these resolutions. We're going to have a show on too on Wednesday night about resolutions, so make sure you tune into that with Dr. Christopher Salute. That's going to be very interesting. And if you're watching this afterwards, not on our live platform, just know that it's there on the Going Solo Network YouTube channel, or on the Roku channel for you to listen to. So let's talk a little bit more about, after we do the defined goals, we want to make that very clear. Then the next thing, we have to persevere, right? We have to be able to create that motivation to be able to continue down that path of being able to start a new life for ourselves. And I think it's kind of exciting to have a new life, right? It's kind of exciting to think that we are in the driver's seat to be able to determine what it is that we want to accomplish in our lives. And I want to share with you that there's a division of areas within your life that you might want to consider concentrating on. You want to consider on, like your professional life, right? You want to consider goals that are within your personal life. You want to consider goals that are in your spiritual realm of life. And so you want to think about all these different areas within your life, and then you want to create different goals, different practices that you want to achieve throughout the year for those things. And but you want to persevere. You want to um, understand that it's a process that you go through. And sometimes it's a little bit of a path, right? It's not a straight road that we go. It's like not a drag, right? We just get on it and we go and we achieve to the other end. It doesn't necessarily work like that. And what happens, and the beauty of life, is that other things happen and they evolve, because when you create that vibration, right, that motive, that motion of movement as you're moving through your life, other things are going to happen, right? Good stuff is going to come into your life because you are now creating that movement of being positive, starting to think about other things that you want, and as you move forward. So that path is going to be a little crooked, it's going to be a little pausing here and there as you move forward, but you just need to know that you need to continue to persevere as you continue down your path of creating this new life for yourself. And so let's see what the next one is. So we have these things written down. Action. Okay, let's come up with our action plan. Also, we are nothing if we take no action to it, right? So we've created this goal, right? We've got the determination behind it. We're creating this movement, this vibration level. We're raising our vibration level to be go do it. Now we got to create action, right? We have to actually do something that's going to make it happen. So that's again going back to your goals. And so as you're creating your goals, it's always kind of good to think a little bit about your past. You know, what has worked in your past? What is it that you truly love about some of the elements within your past? You know, do you want to create new friendships? That's always a great thing to do. So, for example, if you want to create new friendships, you got to get out of your house, right? You got to get off the sofa. You got to get out from the TV set. And so you have to find ways in which to meet people so that you can go out and create new friendships. And let me tell you, when you start creating new friendships, what happens is you start creating a life for yourself. I remember years ago after my divorce, and I know I've said this a million times because it's what happened. My daughter, I thought I was going to go spend time with my daughter, right? And every weekend I'm thinking, okay, what are we going to do? You know, what are we going to do? And finally, one day my daughter said, hey, Mom, you know, I love you, but I can't be with you all the time. You got to get a life, you know, you got to get a life for yourself. Because a lot of times the things that I was interested, she may not have been interested in. And sometimes she just wants to stay home, right? And that things like that. So I realized then I don't have a life. So I decided then I was going to create a life for myself, a new life for myself. And so I did all of these things that I'm telling you today. I sat down and I thought about my life, and I thought about what, you know, I envisioned what my life was going to be, right? So I start putting myself into that place, into that area of where my life was going to be. And, you know, what kind of relationships I wanted to have in my life, you know, number one, I had to, get my job and all of that in order. And I didn't know what I wanted to do, right? I was in a career that my ex had determined that he enjoyed and that he liked, but I really didn't like it, right? Because I'm a people person. And to put me behind a desk all the time, it's not really a good thing. I mean, I'm smart and I can do whatever needs to be done. As you can see, we developed the radio station, but on the TV station, but I love people. I love to talk to them. I love to hear about them. I love to be a part of their lives, right? And so I found that I needed to be able to, get out and do more things. And this station has kind of evolved and it's turned into a career for me, which is a blessing. So I'm going to ask you, what is it that you really want to do? If you're on this cusp, right, of creating a new life for yourself, look at your financial aspect, look at your work, and is it something that you truly enjoy doing? Do you have a passion for it? Are you wanting to bounce out of bed and get to work in the morning? If not, you want to think about those kind of things. And what can you do to bring some joy into that? The next thing you want to do is, for instance, when I was developing my life, I had to get other people to be able to start talking to and being with. And I thought, my daughter doesn't want to be with me every weekend. And what am I going to do? And I didn't want to sit home and get depressed because I was going through a lot of depression. As I was going through my divorce, and I was separated from my children. My children are grown, and the younger one, we were going back and forth. And so it was really tough. And so I decided I've got to meet people. So I joined meetup.com, right? Have you ever heard of meetup.com? Join meetup.com. Now we have developed here in the Going Solo, we developed a Going Solo community, which is very similar to meetup.com, but it takes the aspect of being single and being alone into play. And so you want to check that out, Going Solo community. But you want to go where people are. You want to start doing things that people do and what you enjoy doing, because you don't want to be stuck doing something you don't like doing, right? So start figuring out what it is that brings you joy and start doing that. So get around where people are, start taking a class, learning how to do something new, something different. You might find that will lead you into something else, because people that you meet there might say, oh, have you heard about this class or doing this, right? Maybe get some certifications, things like that. Start listening to different podcasts. We've got many on here on the Going Solo media.com. Listen to different podcasts. You might get different things that you want to do. We did have a show at one time. It was Getting Started, which was perfect for anybody that wanted to get started on stuff. So, listen to some of those, but figure out what your hobbies are, figure out what makes you happy, those kind of things, to be able to start kicking your life in together. But you want to persevere, because there's a lot of things that you're going to be going through that's going to give you some difficulties as you're moving forward. So you got to have the willpower, the discipline, and the strength to be able to continue with that and carry out the action that we want to do. We talked about the action, right? Because if you're not going to do anything, if you're not going to actually put the work in, you're not going to achieve anything. Let's talk a little bit about if you're in that transition, right? Because if you're in that transition to maybe stepping forward and maybe thinking about dating, because a lot of people, when they have a relationship loss, when they start feeling a little bit better, they start thinking about going and start dating, right? Or they'll have the idea of thing, well, he or she is doing whatever, I need to get out there, right, and do it too. Well, the reality is you really shouldn't start dating or start thinking about creating a relationship again, romantically, until you are ready, for one. Because believe it or not, people that you meet might be ready, right? And then you're like, uh-oh, what am I going to do? And I've experienced that, got the t-shirt. And so you want to make sure that you're on the same level. So you want to work on yourself to be able to move forward with that. But know that will be there for you. Know that it is not the end of the world after relationship loss, that you are going to be in this position. It's just a transition that you're going through, right? And it's also developing what it is that you truly want. Do you want another relationship with someone? If at this time you say no, absolutely not, then work on yourself and have a good time and start developing friendships with people, both men and women. I have men and women friends that I absolutely love and adore, right? But they're not a relationship, they're not like a partnership relationship. But I have many people that I love spending time with, because I think women, we need to be able to spend time with guys, right? There's something a guy brings to the table, right? Other than just sex. It's their mindset, it's a way, their logical thinking, it's just their personalities. There's something about maybe a chemistry that we have without even dating, right? Without being romantic. There's still a chemistry that men and women have together. So it's important to continue that. The same thing with men. Men love the idea of being with a woman. They love to be able to smell the perfume. I know it still sounds silly, but when we go out to dinner and stuff, they'll sit there and they have the presence of a woman, right? They have those things, that connection, and they miss that because, again, a man, craves being able to be with a woman. And so even if it's not romantically inclined, so to speak, it's still an important factor that you want to have both men and female friends. And we can talk about this in another show, but you have to set your boundaries, right? You have to make sure that, and I've been told this so many times, that don't kid yourself. Because if there's a bit of a chemistry, a bit of a spark, and a playfulness that you have in a friendship, there's always that underlying, could it go further, right? And so you've got to set your boundaries, like, okay, this is a friendship, I'm not going any further. And if that happens, you've got to be able to say to the individual, hey, I really like you, but I'm just not into that kind of relationship right now. And it may not even be him or her. It could just be you're just not ready for it, right? So anyhow, so you want to be able to understand what it is that you're looking for, and that's all part of being able to, determine what your goals are in what you want to do for this year, determine your plan of action that you want to take, and then you have to start taking that plan of action, right? And so that you can move forward. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the last couple things that I can share with you. And I'm sorry, it looks like our guest wasn't able to be on, so I do apologize for that. So we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about those things. So stick around, because it's important that you want to be able to not only have all of the tools in your toolbox to be able to move forward in your life, but you want to be able to do it in a very peaceful way. And I think, as you're making that transition of relationship loss, it's been a whirlwind for you. And so it's very important for us to be able to connect together, to be able to help you make this transition moving forward in a way that is one that inspires you to create a life of your choice. And I hope that you'll enjoy that. I am Cece Shatz. I'm the Doyenne of Relationship Building. I am a divorce and dating and a life coach. You guys are listening to the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. And this is the Going Solo Life After Relationship Loss. So I will be right back. Hang tight. Welcome back. You guys are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. You are listening to the Going Solo Life After Relationship Loss. and I am Cece Shatz. I'm the Doyenne of Relationship Building. I am a divorce, dating, and a life coach. We're talking today about my new life starts today. Why not start today, right? And honestly, your life can start, you can start making changes in your life anytime you want, right? It's your life. It's your choice to be able to move forward. And so we're talking about life after relationship loss today. And sometimes it's very difficult for us to think about that we could have possibly ever have a life again, right? We think, oh gosh, we've gone through all of this and hurt and loss and all of that we've made that transition from. But that's it, right? We're making that transition from that, right? We're going to be moving forward together, really creating a new life that we want. And it's exciting because in today's world, you can create any kind of life you want, right? You can create a relationship that you want, any kind of relationship that you want. You can define dating and define a personal relationship any way that you want now. I mean, it used to be like, had to be a certain way. You had to, court and do certain things and then get married. I mean, you watch all the old time shows. It's changed very much. Also today, as far as career or experiences, you can do just about anything you want. Women and men both do all kinds of different types of careers, and they can set out and do different things. You can experience all kinds of activities now that maybe you couldn't have done before, right? So your life is just awaits you, right? It's just right there for you. And so the first part of the show, we talked a little bit about what you need to do in order to start off, right? And so if that's what you're thinking about today, switching it up, changing things a little bit, you want to create a list of what you want to do, right? Take your steps of action. You wanted to have a defined goal, because that's why resolutions do not work. It's because you don't have a defined goal that you want to do. You want to define that goal, and then you want to put together action plans, that you're going to take place in doing it. And then you want to persevere. You want to continue on with it, even when things get a little tough, right? Things get a little hard for you. Things get switched up. Maybe time starts coming into the way. You just want to keep persevering. It's all about, bless her heart, Andrea. She told us in the divorce group, it's all about baby steps. She created that. And we say it over and over again. It's about taking those baby steps towards the life that you want to create. And so that is what you want to do. You want to know that you just want to persevere and keep on with that. So let's talk about the next thing that you want to put on that list. You want to leave your comfort zone. We talked a little bit about like that. If you want to make new friends, you can't stay home. You can't stay in your living room watching TV. And I hope you're watching us because we love that. But you really need to get out and do something different. You need to shake it up. So look at your goal, right? What it is that you just determine that you want to do, and then figure out how you're going to do it. Number one, if you want to let's say you want to create a new relationship in your life, you want to create friendships in your life. What kind of friend are you going to be, right? You're not going to have the kind of friendships and relationships with people if you're not ready for that. So number one, you have to be ready for that. And you also have to be able to give, right? Because so often we think, as we're starting this new life for ourselves, what I want this new life. I want to move forward in this new life, but I'm not willing to give anything of it, right? I'm not willing to give of myself. I'm not willing to make changes of myself to be able to move forward. But I expect all of these people to come forward to help me, both professionally and personally. That's not going to happen, right? It just won't happen for you. The reality is you have to be ready and prepared, and you have to continue to grow within yourself to be able to move forward. So you want to start putting together things that you can do to continue on. So let's say you're getting out, right? You've got to shake it up, get out, do something a little bit different. But then you have to start growing within yourselves. I've often said that we have to fill our own well first before we can move forward, right? Before someone else is going to be interested in us, both professionally and personally, we have to fill our own well. We have to make sure that we are there, our vibration is up, that our knowledge is up, that our personality is on the high, right? That we are fun to be with. We're a delight to be with, and that people want to actually be around us. And if that's not the case, we got to figure it out. We got to figure out what our interests are, what brings us joy, how we're going to be able to move forward in life. And so you want to definitely start getting out of your comfort zone, do something a little bit different. Like I have a good friend that he wants to jump out of a plane. As silly as that might sound to some, including myself, I'm happy to go and watch, right? And I found that was a lot of fun to watching people jump out of the plane. It was a very exciting, right? I caught the high, man. When I was there watching people jump out of the planes, getting ready for the plane, getting ready to jump out of the plane, seeing their family and friends there waiting for them to be able to do it, and then them jump out and how excited they were that they did it and they achieved it. Man, I rode that. I rode that just like everybody else did, right? I didn't even have to jump out of the plane. So, I mean, do something like that that's a little bit different, out of your comfort zone a little bit. Maybe I didn't participate in jumping out of the plane, but I sure had a heck of a lot of fun with the people that did jump out of the plane. So that's what you want to do. You want to step out a little bit. So let's say, for instance, you enjoy music, but you're not a big dancer, right? Take a dance lesson. Take one or two dance lessons. Guess what? It's a lot of fun. You meet a lot of different people, and you get a little bit used to dancing a little bit. Something out of your comfort level, right? Something a little bit different for you. Any particular sport that maybe you don't know how to do, you don't have to become a professional athlete, but you can maybe go to a game or two and go with some people and and learn how to do it. If you don't know baseball or football or anything like that, maybe you didn't have an interest before, ladies, come on, but that's where the guys are, right? And so go with a group of people and have them start teaching you a little bit about the rules, and you never know, you might get hooked on it. So it's like you can surprise yourself, right, as you're moving through developing this new life for yourself. You can surprise yourself in areas that you never dreamt of. Maybe acting. We had one lady in our divorce group that she had a passion for acting, and she went back to school. She learned how to do it. Now she's an actress today. And so we had a gentleman that enjoyed comedy, and he started doing some local comedy things. And I went to go see him one time. I thought he was a delight, and he enjoyed that. And I say, good for him, that he started going in that direction. I don't know if he'll be a professional comedian, but he certainly, he could if he wanted to, absolutely, because he has the passion and the desire to do that. So what I'm going to ask you is, what is your passion, right? What is your desire? What have you thought about doing, but you never really did, right? Maybe those are the kind of things that you want to think about doing. Stepping out of the box, shake it up, do something different, right? Meet different people. Step out of being critical and you set in your own ways, right? Your own ways might be great, might be absolutely terrific, but it's getting you nowhere as to where you're at, right? Setting your ways and being, a lump on the log is not getting you what you want to do. So sometimes we have to do something totally different. And if we join, let's say you did join meetup.com, or you did join our community and you joined one of the groups and you did something different, and you might find that you actually like it. But the reality is you're going to meet and make friends as you do that, both men and women, right? And it will get you out and to do something else. And they'll say, if you're fun or you enjoy being with, they'll say, well, why don't you come along? We're going to be doing blah blah blah. Let's go and do this, and be open for that. Be open to do different things. Like let's say, for instance, you did an activity and they said, well, we're going to meet for dinner, or we're going to go out and have drinks. Maybe you don't drink alcohol. You don't have to drink alcohol. Drink a soda, but go with them, right? Go and do something different. Because often, I've heard people say, I don't want to go because I live in Clearwater, right? I live in Florida, those of you that don't know. Clearwater is is part of like the Tampa Bay area. And so Tampa is across the bridge, right? Which is not very far, but people think it's like a horrible thing if you have to go over to Tampa or you have to go over to Clearwater. They don't want to drive over the bridge. They don't want to drive to where they're going to go. But listen, you could be missing out on a wonderful opportunity to meet and make friends that way. Maybe, you have friends that, what is that old saying, right? You have friends that um, it might very well be a season, a season, a reason, a season, a reason that you have a friendship, right? You might have a friend that you make that's long term, that lasts forever. And then you might have someone that just kind of gets you through what you need to get through right now, right? And they kind of help you, or they'll show you something, or they'll give a part of themselves that you learned something from. And so that is what's important. So if you remember that when you meet someone, and not judge them, right? Not judge the individual, and you just take account as to being present in the moment with them, and enjoying where you're at in that space. You will find that you enjoy very much, not only their life, but you'll start enjoying your life too. So it's very, very unique. And the last thing we're going to talk about is, do not listen to doubts and discouragement. If I did that, I would certainly probably be in a closet. you know, I tell you what, I stepped out of the box, right? And which is why I ask you to do the same thing. And, I've had so many people, and even just recently, I had someone poo pooing this whole channel. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And, but you just don't listen to the naysayers. You don't listen to them. You don't give them space in your head. You don't give them space in your time. You don't let that happen to you. You don't let discouraged people or environments get in the way of achieving what it is that you want to achieve. And the reason being is because you're worth it. You're worth being able to achieve what it is that you want. You're worth having happiness in your life. You're worth having a new relationship in your life. You're worth creating whatever it is that you want to create. It is just there waiting for you to do it. So if someone is not on your team, love them where they're at, but get a new team member, right? Don't let people discourage you. Don't let things discourage you. For instance, if you're trying to lose weight, I am trying to lose weight. I gained a lot of weight taking care of my father. I'm going to blame him, because he's my dad, right? No, I'm not. But I kind of didn't continue my exercising and things like that. And as I've gotten older, I've gained weight. And so I need to start being serious about this, right? But I get discouraged just like everyone else, right? And so I stop and start like a lot of people do, right? But the point is that you've got to keep starting, right? You got to keep doing it. You got to keep that momentum going, right? And not get disappointed. If something happens in your environment that changes and shifts, you just have to take a pause if you need to, and then step over it and then continue on, right? You need to think about a little bit of your past so that it can help guide you towards your future. Not that it can beat you up, because a lot of times we look at our past and we allow it to beat us up. We allow us to give us doubt and reservation as to what our life is going to be. Only use your past as a guide to move you forward. I'm just like you, just completely like you. I struggle just like you do, moving forward after a relationship loss. I question and doubt myself just like you do. But the reality is we are worth being able to move forward in our lives. We can create a new life for ourselves. And why not start today, right? Why not start today in this new year? Or if you're listening to this and it's a half a year has passed, it's June, start then. But start where you're at, right? Be present in the moment and start where you're at. Start doing some of the things that we talked about. And we'll go over them real quick again so that you have them. But you want to create a well-defined goal. Make a list of what it is that you want to do, both, professionally, personally, and also within our faith, our spiritual realm. We want to do that. Those three areas that you can do. You want to continue to fill your well, right, as you're doing this, but you create a defined goal. You create an action plan that you want to start moving forward in making these changes, these shifts. And they can be little shifts in your life. They don't have to be like, okay, I'm going to go on a diet and now I'm just not going to eat anything but lettuce. That's not going to work for you, right? So you want to make shifts, small shifts in your life. So maybe you don't eat chocolate every day. No, or ice cream, which is like my favorite things, right? But, so you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to do this and then maybe I'll treat myself. Could do that, right? So that way you have a little bit of it as you go forward, right? You don't need to beat yourself up as you make any changes or anything in your life. You can create small shifts in your life that will also achieve what you want to do. But you want to have the willpower and the discipline to be able to keep forward with that. You want to leave your comfort zone. You want to get out, step out, do something different, and really understand that you got to shake it up in order to make a change in your life or a shift in your life. Don't listen to doubts and discouragements. Be able to move forward. Live in your world today as you're stepping forward into this new environment. Well, listen, this was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys want to reach me, I'm going to put up my information. If you want to reach me here, all you have to do is email goingsolonetwork@gmail.com. And our website for all the media is goingsolomedia.com. And everything we do for singles is on goingsolonetwork.com. So you can find everything right there. You can find our Going Solo community, which this show is sponsored by goingsoloCommunity.com. And it's also sponsored by a dating site. It's a brand new community dating site called Meet the Right One. Meet the Right One. Gosh, are you tired of meeting the wrong ones? I think so. So let's meet the right one. And we're going to help you right here on the Going Solo Network, on our Going Solo TV, which is on Roku. And we have our Bold Network too, which is on Roku. And so we have a lot of things going on. We closed out, and I will say this, I'm so excited. We closed out Roku at 3.1 million viewers, and I'm just really excited about that. We've been doing this station for many, many years, probably 10 or plus years, right? And we have evolved, right? So what I'm telling you today about my new life starts today. I had to do everything you're doing. I had to go through everything you're going through. So we've been there. I've got the t-shirt, right? I know what you're going through, and I know how difficult and how scary it is. But let me tell you, when you become afraid of something or fearful of something, it's because it's of the unknown, right? You're stepping into a new world that you didn't think you were going to be in, right? After relationship loss. But let me tell you, to the other side, when you become more confident and more assured as to what it is that you're doing, life will throw you curveballs as you go through. But just know that you can get to the other side. I think our guest is trying to pop in at the end of the show, but persevere, right? He persevered. So I see him coming through, but it says his devices are not connected. So unfortunately, he's still having a difficult time. But like him, we're going to continue to work hard, and we're going to do the very best that we can do as we do it. And we're going to be proud of ourselves and not beat ourselves up as we move forward. So I hope this information helped you. Please contact me if you want. I would love to hear from you. I'm going to start doing something a little bit different soon. We're going to have a radio. We've got the radio channel. We've had the radio channel for years, but I'm going to start doing a music and talk show together. It's called Love and Pillow Talk. So I hope you guys will join me on there. It's going to be a live show. You can comment, ask questions, all of those kind of things. But I am going to be bringing forward a lot of the comments and the questions that I get over the years and what people send to me now on the Going Solo Network at gmail.com. So if you got a question about relationships, dating, anything, just send that to me and we'll talk a little bit about it, and then I'll play some music So as we move forward with that, we also have another music show that's going to be on. It's Music for Your Life. It's going to be with John Thomas. That's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be like 4 hours long, just playing music, comments, and really having a lot of fun on that. So we're opening it up, creating something different, which is exactly what we want to do for you. We want to help you create your new life, and it starts today. So I hope that you enjoyed this show. Again, I am Cece Shatz, the Doyenne of Relationship Building. I have helped hundreds through, relationship loss. And so if you need anything, just let me know. Just goingsolonetwork@gmail.com. I'd be happy to help you. You're listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We are a radio, TV, and a podcast station all through the internet. We're the #1 internet singles talk network, and we want to thank you for that. Love you guys dearly, and I'll catch you next time. Bye for now.